There are moments in life when your heart speaks louder than your voice. Times when the world feels heavy, the silence becomes deafening, and the pain finds no words. And in those moments, what if I told you there is a way to speak that guarantees you're heard by the one who never ignores a sincere call? That's not just hope, that's a promise from the Most Merciful. Talk to Allah like this, and you will watch your prayers begin to unfold in ways that will leave you in tears, in awe, and in sujood. There will be times in life when a person finds themselves surrounded by silence. The kind of silence that isn't just outside but deep within. A silence that follows heartbreak after trying again and again and still seeing no result. When you keep calling out but nothing seems to change, you cry and yet you feel like no one's listening. You raise your hands but they fall with disappointment. You speak to Allah and it feels like your words are floating in an empty sky. That moment when you're just about to give up is the very moment your dua is closest to being answered. Because your patience has been tested, your sincerity has been tested, and your heart has been humbled. And Allah never allows such effort to go to waste. No dua ever goes unheard. That whisper, that plea, that tear that fell when no one was watching, it was seen, it was recorded, and it will come back to you in a form far greater than you ever imagined. Just because you haven't seen the results doesn't mean your voice was ignored. Allah is not like His creation. He does not get tired of hearing from you. He doesn't turn away when you call repeatedly. He doesn't roll His eyes when you ask for the same thing for the 100th time. He doesn't tell you to move on or try something else. In fact, the more you ask, the more beloved you become. The more consistent you are in your dua, the more loved you are in the heavens. This is not a transaction. It's a connection. A connection between the one who is powerless and the one who holds all power. The one who is desperate and the one who never runs out of mercy. You may have asked for something months ago, maybe even years, and you wonder why hasn't it happened. But what you don't see is that while you're waiting for that one thing, Allah is protecting you from 1,000 things. Maybe the job you wanted would have harmed your faith. Maybe the person you begged for would have broken your heart even more. Maybe the opportunity you prayed for was a test disguised as a blessing. Allah knows what you do not. And when He delays, it is never to deprive. It is always to prepare. Sometimes the delay is not in the answer but in your readiness to receive it. And Allah in His mercy doesn't give before the time is right. He doesn't send before your heart can carry it. So when you feel like your du'as aren't being answered, remind yourself that your words have already reached the throne and now the plan is being written in your favor in the most beautiful and perfect way. There are moments when a person is so broken that words don't even come out anymore. The pain has gone beyond expression. The heart is too heavy to lift. The mouth is too dry to speak. But even in that silence, Allah knows, even without words, your soul is still communicating. Your pain becomes your dua. Your silence becomes your plea. The tears you wipe quietly in the dark are being collected. Not a single one is wasted. The angels are recording. The doors of mercy are opening. And something is changing even if you don't see it yet. You don't always have to speak to be heard. With Allah, even the unspoken is understood. So never think your dua is wasted. Never assume that your whisper is too quiet for the heavens to hear. Sometimes the quietest du'as are the loudest in the realm of the unseen. It's in those quiet moments of heartbreak that a person's soul often becomes closest to Allah. Not when everything is perfect, not when life is smooth, but when the heart is tired, when the nights are sleepless, when your chest feels tight and your mind is full of worries. That is the moment when your dua becomes powerful, because it's no longer just words, it's desperation, it's surrender. It's a cry from the deepest corner of your heart that says, I have no one left but you. And when a servant reaches that point, they are no longer praying just to receive something, they are praying to survive. That kind of dua is never left unanswered. The beauty of speaking to Allah is that He already knows. He doesn't need you to explain the backstory. He doesn't require details. He doesn't judge your grammar or your flow of speech. You don't need to be poetic. You don't need to know Arabic. You just need to be real. Pour your heart out, just as it island. Let the pain speak. Let the fear speak. Let your hopes, your sins, your dreams and your regrets all flow into your prayer. Because what matters is not how beautiful your words are, but how sincere your heart island. And when the heart speaks, the heavens respond. Speak to Allah as you would speak to the one person who truly gets you, because He does. Speak with the rawness you've been hiding. Speak with the honesty you've been scared to show. Say, Ya Allah, I'm broken, I'm tired, I don't know what to do anymore. Please guide me, please fix this, please hold me together. These are not weak words. These are the most powerful words you can say, because they reflect the truth of your dependence on Him. They show that you have surrendered, and in that surrender lies the beginning of relief. Too often people focus on the perfection of the prayer and forget the perfection of the one they're praying to. Even if you stumble, even if your voice shakes, even if your heart is full of doubts and you don't know what to say, just begin. Open your hands, look down, lower your gaze, let your soul speak. You don't have to know how to ask, you just have to want to be heard. And when you sincerely want to be heard, you are already being listened to. If there's one thing that transforms a person's connection with Allah, it is the way they speak to Him. Not just in formal prayer, but in private conversation. Outside of salah, in your car, while walking, while lying in bed, speak to Him. Thank Him for the things you forget to appreciate. Ask Him for the things you're too scared to admit. Confide in Him about the things you can't tell anyone else, and watch how your heart begins to soften, how your life begins to change. Not because the problems disappear, but because your strength is renewed. Because your heart finds peace knowing that even if the world turns its back on you, the one who matters is still listening. The more you talk to Allah, the more you realize you don't need to rely on people for comfort. The more you confide in Him, the less desperate you will be for validation. He becomes your closest friend, your safest place, your source of calm in the middle of chaos. And the beauty of this relationship is that it requires no appointment, no location, no perfection. Just sincerity, just honesty, just you and your Creator. Sometimes the answer to your prayer is not the thing you asked for, but the nearness you gained. Sometimes the gift is not the outcome, but the connection you built while waiting. So don't measure the success of your dua by whether or not you got what you wanted. Measure it by how much closer you've become to the one you were speaking to. Because that closeness, that bond, it's more valuable than anything you could have asked for. One of the most powerful ways to speak to Allah is in sujood. When your head is on the ground and your heart is elevated. When your body is at its lowest but your soul is at its highest. That is the moment of connection. That is the place of confession. That is where secrets are spilled, where pain is released, where peace is found. Stay there, don't rush it, speak to Him slowly. Let your tears mix with the dust. Let your heart open up completely. That moment in sujood may be the turning point of your life. If you're going through hardship, speak to Allah like you believe He already has the solution. If you're lost, speak to Him like you believe He already has the map. If you're scared, speak like you believe He's already sending you calm. Let your voice reflect your faith. Let your plea reflect your certainty. Not because you see the answer, but because you trust the one who holds it. And when things don't go your way, when your dua isn't answered how you hoped, still speak to Him. Still thank Him. Still ask Him for strength. Because even unanswered prayers are a form of mercy. Maybe you were protected, maybe you were redirected, maybe you were elevated in ways you can't even see. The one who sees the full picture will never leave a sincere call unanswered. It just may come back to you in a different wrapping, on a different day, in a different way. Many people ask why their du'as are not answered. They raise their hands, they call out sincerely, they even cry at night, but they feel like nothing is changing. They begin to wonder if maybe their prayers are not accepted, maybe they are not worthy, maybe they are doing something wrong. What is often forgotten in these moments is that dua is not just a request, it is a relationship. It is not a button you press to get results instantly. It is a reflection of your connection with your Creator. And when the connection is weak, even the strongest dua may seem silent. But when the connection is strong, even a whisper becomes powerful. The question is not always whether Allah is listening, because He always island. The real question is, are you building a relationship with Him outside of your need? Are you only calling on Him when you want something? Or are you remembering Him when life is good too? When someone only turns to Allah during hardship, they treat Him like a backup plan. But when someone remembers Allah during ease, Allah remembers them during difficulty. It is not about perfection, it is about consistency. It is about loving your Creator in both the sunshine and the storm. Some people expect results from their dua, but they don't pray 5 times a day. They raise their hands for 5 minutes but ignore their obligations for days. They cry in dua but ignore people's rights, backbite, lie, cheat or hurt others with their words. Then they wonder why their prayer is delayed. Dua is not magic, it is not separate from how you live, it is part of your entire relationship with Allah. If you want your dua to be answered, then build a life that reflects your sincerity. Fix your relationship with your Maker, not just the moment of asking. Build that connection so that your dua comes from a heart that knows, not a heart that doubts. There is great beauty in speaking to Allah during moments when you don't need anything. Just praising Him, just thanking Him, just saying, I miss talking to you. That's when the relationship grows. That's when your dua becomes more than a transaction, when it becomes love. That kind of dua is powerful even before it is spoken. It is like a child running to a parent they trust, knowing that their concerns will be taken care of. That's the trust a believer should have when calling on Allah. Not hesitation, not fear of rejection, but confidence, love and surrender. The more you remember Him in ease, the more He will answer you in hardship. The more you obey Him when life is smooth, the more He will open doors when life becomes difficult. There are times when people feel that they have been making dua for the same thing over and over again with no result. They start to think it is better to give up. But what they don't see is that while they are waiting for their dua to be answered, they are being shaped. Their heart is being purified, their patience is being trained, their character is being molded. Allah is preparing them for something far greater than what they are asking for. Sometimes what you ask for is too small compared to what He wants to give you, so He delays it to upgrade you. Sometimes what you want is not good for you at that time, so He delays it to protect you, and sometimes you are not ready for the blessing. So He delays it until you grow into someone who can carry it without it destroying you. If Allah gave us everything we asked for the moment we asked, we would never learn patience, we would never trust Him, we would never understand wisdom. The delay is a gift, not a punishment. When you fix your relationship with Allah, you stop worrying about when and how the prayer will be answered. You start focusing on being the type of person who deserves the answer. You stop measuring Allah's love by how quickly He gives you what you want, and you start measuring His love by how much closer you feel to Him even while waiting. You stop using dua to pressure Allah, and you start using dua to build peace within your heart. That's when life becomes beautiful. That's when every moment becomes meaningful. Because you are no longer attached to results, you are attached to the one who controls the results. Imagine asking for something with complete certainty. That's how the believer is meant to speak to Allah, with full trust, with unwavering faith, with the confidence that nothing is too big for the one who said be and it island. Too often people pray with hesitation. They say things like, if you can, please help me. But Allah can do all things. He does not need permission, He does not need resources. He simply wills something and it becomes reality. So pray with conviction, ask with certainty. Believe that what you are asking for is already being arranged, because the one you are asking from is the King of Kings. Sometimes a person prays for something that seems impossible. Maybe they're asking for a miracle, for a cure, for someone to come back, for a door to open that's been locked for years. And shaitan whispers to them, this is too much. Don't get your hopes up. But those are the moments when a believer pushes back and says, my Lord can do anything. The story of every prophet is a story of the impossible becoming possible. The fire didn't burn Ibrahim. The sea split for Musa. The whale carried Yunus and brought him back. The barren wife of Zachariah gave birth to a prophet, and the cave protected the youth who fled for their faith. None of these things make sense in the world of logic, but in the world of belief, they are signs of divine power. So when you make dua, remember who you're speaking to, not a human with limits, but the one whose mercy is infinite, whose power is unmatched, and whose knowledge is complete. Dua is not just words, it's an act of worship. It's a statement of faith. It's the heart's declaration that it trusts Allah more than it trusts the situation. That it believes in the unseen more than what it sees in front of it. So even when your eyes show you nothing is changing, your heart continues to believe that everything is changing behind the scenes. That's what makes dua powerful. That trust, that surrender, that willingness to keep asking even when the answer is nowhere in sight, because you are no longer relying on the outcome. You are relying on the one who controls it. There are people who ask Allah once and give up. And there are people who ask day and night, year after year, and still say Alhamdulillah. The second group are the ones whose hearts are closest to Him. Because their relationship is not based on outcomes, it's based on love, it's based on knowledge, it's based on understanding that the one who answers prayers is also the one who knows what's best. And if He delays, there's a reason. And if He denies, there's wisdom. And if He gives, it's a gift far beyond what you deserved. Make your dua with certainty. Let every word come from the heart. Don't worry about fancy phrases. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Just speak, just ask, just connect. Let your heart speak honestly. Let your soul pour out. And remember, the one you are calling out to is not limited. He doesn't run out of blessings. He doesn't get tired of hearing your voice. He doesn't close His doors. Even when everyone else is tired of your problems, even when people avoid your calls, even when friends walk away, Allah never abandons the one who turns to Him sincerely. The one who raises his hands in the night, the one who falls in sujood and whispers from the depths of pain, the one who trusts even while waiting, that person is never forgotten. That person is being drawn closer to the most merciful with every word, every tear, every heartbeat that says, Ya Allah, I trust you. The reason why tears are so powerful in dua is because they reflect the inner condition of your heart. You cannot fake sincerity when your heart is broken. You cannot act humble when you're crying alone in the dark. At that moment, everything is stripped away. Ego, pride, formality. It's just you and your Creator. And that's where transformation begins. That's when your du'as carry the weight of truth. It's not about how much you say, it's about how deeply you mean it. Even a single word, Ya Allah, spoken with a heart full of grief, can be more beloved to Allah than 1,000 empty phrases. When the soul is raw, when the heart is torn, and when the tears are falling without restraint, that is when your voice becomes the most beautiful sound in the heavens, because it reflects true need. It reflects reliance. It reflects surrender. Some people hide their tears thinking it shows weakness, but in the eyes of the divine, those tears are strength. They are proof that your heart still turns to its source. They are signs that you haven't given up, that your faith is still alive. Even if the world thinks you're broken, Allah sees someone who is finally open, someone whose heart is finally soft enough to receive His mercy. So cry, and don't be ashamed, weep, and don't feel embarrassed. Let the pain turn into a prayer, and let that prayer rise higher than any speech ever could. That's the moment when you're no longer praying with your tongue, you're praying with your soul. And that kind of dua is never rejected. Many people underestimate the power of tears in their prayer. They think that crying means they've reached a point of despair, but in reality, crying is a form of deep connection. Even the prophets cried. Even the strongest believers were seen weeping in prayer, not because they were weak, but because they were close. They understood that sometimes the heart says more through its tears than the mouth could ever explain. They knew that when the eyes weep for the sake of Allah, the sins fall like rain. They knew that when the heart trembles with fear, love, or longing for the Creator, that trembling is more beloved than any external display. So never think your tears are unnoticed. They are counted. They are cherished. They are part of your worship. A dua made in pain carries a weight that no comfort can match, because pain pushes you to your limits. It forces you to look beyond people. It makes you realize that no one can truly help you except the one who created you. That's why the dua of the oppressed is never rejected. That's why the dua made in sujood with tears and sincerity can shift an entire destiny. When your back is against the wall, when your strength is gone, when the people you trusted have walked away, that's when you find the sweetest connection with the one who never leaves. And in that moment you realize that the pain was never meant to break you, it was meant to bring you back. Sometimes the tears are not from sadness, sometimes they come from relief, from gratitude. From standing in front of your Lord after a long day and realizing that despite all your mistakes, He still allows you to pray. Despite your sins, He still allows you to raise your hands. Despite your shortcomings, He still listens. That realization alone is enough to bring tears, because you know you've failed Him again and again, and yet He still covers you, He still blesses you. He still opens doors for you. That realization softens the heart in a way nothing else can. It brings a type of humility that words cannot describe, and it turns every dua into an expression of love, not just need. But there's another powerful form of prayer that many neglect. It's the kind of prayer that happens when you stop speaking to people and start speaking directly to Allah. How often do we run to people with our problems? We tell our friends, we call our family, we post online, we look for someone to just listen. But how often do we run to the one who created the problem for a purpose? The one who already knows what you're feeling before you say it. The one who doesn't need an explanation, who doesn't interrupt, who doesn't judge. He just listens and responds and heals and gives. The truth is, people get tired. Even the most loving ones, they get overwhelmed. They have their own issues. They may listen today but not tomorrow. They may support you for a while, but they cannot carry your burdens forever. But Allah, He never gets tired. You can go to Him 1,000 times a day and He'll still listen like it's the first time. You can repeat the same worry for years and He'll never say, not this again. You can cry to Him about the same heartache over and over again, and each time He'll respond with mercy. That is the relationship your soul craves. That is the friendship your heart was created for. Instead of posting your pain for the world to see, turn to the one who already knows. Instead of seeking attention from people who can't fix your problem, seek nearness to the one who holds the solution. Speak to Allah like He is your closest friend, your safest place, your secret keeper. Because He island, tell Him about the sins you're ashamed of, about the habits you want to break, about the fears that keep you up at night, about the dreams you don't tell anyone. And when you do, you'll find something incredible happen, not just in your life, but in your heart. Your heart starts to feel lighter. Your mind becomes clearer. The anxiety begins to fade. Not because the problem is gone, but because you're no longer carrying it alone. You've handed it over to the one who is never overwhelmed. That's the power of truly speaking to Allah. It's not just about getting your dua answered. It's about building a bond that gives your soul peace even when your life feels chaotic. It's about creating a relationship where your comfort comes not from what you receive, but from who you rely on. When you start talking to Allah in this way, you'll realize that the best part of your day is not scrolling through your phone. It's those quiet moments of connection. After Fajr, when the world is still asleep and the sky is painted in mercy. During the night, when the stars witness your tears and your heart speaks its deepest truths. In sujood, when your forehead touches the ground and you feel like you finally come home. These are the moments that define your journey. These are the moments that bring healing. These are the moments that transform you from someone who begs from the world to someone who finds strength in the unseen. If you truly want to change your life, begin with how you speak to Allah. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait until you've memorized the perfect dua. Just begin right now. In whatever language your heart speaks. Speak honestly, speak often, and speak with love. Let your relationship with Him be the most beautiful part of your life. Because the one who speaks to Allah sincerely, who trusts Him fully, who returns to Him repeatedly, will never walk this world alone again. So talk to Allah like this and just watch. Watch how the doors open. Watch how your heart heals. Watch how your life transforms.